to another episode of Tea with Z. My name is Zamel Solanki, and it's an absolute pleasure to be joining each and every one of you again on this morning for another episode. And if you haven't got it already, go and grab your cuppa, your tea, your coffee, whatever it looks like, because we're about to jump into today's episode. And before I do that, I'm just going to have another quick sip. There we go. Nothing like it in the morning. So, welcome. And if you're watching live, give me some likes, give me some hearts. It's an absolute pleasure to be, feeling your energy this morning because, like always, I really love the energy exchange that we get when we do feature on Tea with Z. And a special shout out to those that are watching from the Limitless Network, a group of like-minded people that value health in their own way, shape, or form. That's an amazing group of people that are community that are all bound together to really, I guess, share their own journeys as well along the way. And tomorrow we'll be having an exclusive episode in the Limitless Network. So if you haven't joined that yet, be sure to join that tomorrow. And the details are on the screen right now. So, getting into today's episode. Well, actually, before I do that, I really want to just put a special shout out to the Limitless Network for what we're going to be covering off tomorrow. And it's something that's been requested, and it's been something that has been in the works a little bit in the background, and we're planning to reveal what that is tomorrow. So, if you aren't a part of that community yet, come and join it today because I'm very excited about telling you what we've got in store. So, today I was chatting with, in a lot of these episodes, a lot of people ask me, hey, Zamil, where do you get the inspiration from your content? Where do you get the inspiration about, what we talk about? And what we talk about is literally the experiences that I have with my clients, with my colleagues on a day-to-day basis. Yes, we talk about some days of the year which are diarized in calendar days. We spoke about Dementia Action Week recently. We spoke about Are You Okay Day. We speak about a lot of other of these topics. And if you're just wondering as well, I'm going to be putting a post in the Limitless Network for a special mention as to what today is. But I'll save that for later as well. But a lot of people ask me, where do I get this content from? And yeah, like I mentioned, it's from just the experiences that I experience. And one thing that I was chatting with a colleague or the client yesterday about was the role of onboarding. Now, what we're seeing right now is a dramatic shift in labor markets because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And what we've seen as a result of that is the pressures on our workforce and specifically on businesses to employ people and employ talent that are highly skilled and highly trained, because there's such a shortage of great talent out there, but also we're not bringing in the usual talent pool that we get from overseas. And as a result of that, or even students, for example, I've got a friend and we chat about business all the time, and he's in the hospitality business, and his ability to source talent within his organization is extremely limited because he would pull a lot of his talent from students. Now, you might be wondering why I'm talking about this today. Well, the reason why I am is the role of onboarding. So onboarding talent usually gets focused on quite poorly, I guess, within organizations. And what I really wanted to do today was really touch base and just see what your onboarding procedure looks like, because I can guarantee many of you watching this video right now are either thinking about employing somebody or actually actively seeking somebody to help join their team. I could almost guarantee it, because that's just the way it is right now. The number of times I've been phoned up recently to find, well, to see if I've got any contacts or know of anybody that is looking for work, I haven't seen it at all over these past 2 years at the height it is right now. And as a result of that, what I really want to do was touch on the value of onboarding, because it's all great and well to have an awesome recruitment process and an interview process and you do all of that legwork and you pick, your most ideal candidate, they enter your team, and then they go, well, wait a minute, this isn't what I signed up for. And you might be saying that, or they might be saying that, or both of you might be saying that. And as a result of that, it's usually a breakdown in the recruitment or interview procedure, but it also can be a significant breakdown as we onboard somebody. Because so often or not, tell me, how long do you normally spend to onboard somebody? You might have an initial induction procedure where you might spend a day with them and running through the standard policies and procedures that make the framework up of your business. But what goes beyond that? And so my question to you today is, what is actually your onboarding procedure? Because did you know that 88% of organizations don't onboard well? And that's actually based on an employee sentiment. An employee sentiment believes that 88% of their, when surveyed, 88% of the workplaces that were surveyed, employees didn't believe that their organizations onboarded them well. But did you know the result of that, of actually onboarding them well, can actually improve their retention by 82%? 82%. You can increase their retention by just dedicating the time and focusing on their onboarding procedure and assimilating them into the team and aligning them to the values within your organization. They have a 70% increase in productivity. 70% increase in productivity when they are onboarded correctly, which is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Whereas traditionally, close to 60% of organizations say that they focus purely just on paperwork and process as part of the induction and onboarding procedure, not the practical elements, not the values alignment, not the culture elements within the organization. All the things that make up a great team, we ignore. We ignore. And so when you look at that, statistic, saying that close to 60% focus purely on process and paperwork, we're leaving so much else on the table that constitutes what makes us great. And as a result of that, because we're so narrow focused, and at the end of the day, there's a limit with the amount of processes and paperwork that we focus on, most organizations actually only onboard for 1 week. And I can hand on heart say most organizations actually only on board for 1 or 2 days, because that's what I've seen. And as a result of that, a negative onboarding experience results in new hires being twice more likely to look for other new opportunities. Twice more likely to look. And you've invested now all this time in recruitment, in interviewing, and then a poor onboarding procedure, and they're already checking out, looking for other opportunities because they themselves haven't been aligned to what they thought they were stepping into, or what you thought they were going to bring to the table as well. A poor onboarding procedure as well. Now think about your team. Think about your team in the environment in which you work. When you are recruiting for key talent within your team, if you've got amazing talent within your team, what's probably one of the first things you ask them? Hey, do you know anybody to help fill this role? And as a result of that, when you ask that question, and if they've had a poor onboarding experience, and they might be great talent, they might be amazing talent, but because of their experiences, maybe they're just stepping up and working through, but would they then recommend you is something different. They're happy to maybe work there, but would they recommend you? And 1 in 5 are actually unlikely to do that, purely based on a poor onboarding experience. So how do we combat this? Well, assigning a buddy. 80% of new employees say that a buddy assigned to them to take them on the journey of them actually improves their productivity, improves their level of buy-in, improves their proficiency in understanding the new environment that they work in. A buddy. That is probably the biggest thing. But it's also about recognizing the difference between what we say our processes and systems are, but then also what's actually happening. You might have a process. A great example of this is you have a process on your in your team room, and the lunchroom, and it says, please wash your dishes after use. And if I rock up there on the first day and I see that sink stacked high full of dishes, even though I see that process on the wall, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to put my dirty dishes on top of that pile. I'm not going to wash it, because around here, while the process is there, what actually happens in reality is completely different. And so that's something to be really, really conscious of as well, and something that we'll be exploring later on another episode of Tea with Z in greater detail, because that in itself warrants its own episode. So what I really wanted to do today was just ask you that question. What does your onboarding procedure look like? And as a result of maybe you haven't really focused on it before, but how can you then transform this crucial element that the statistics prove are so important to not only retention of new talent, but also productivity? So that's my question for you today. What does your onboarding procedure look like? And what are your tips and tricks? What do you do? What do you do? What could you share with others to help empower them and all of us along our own health entrepreneur journey? So post in the comment section below. And if you're watching live right now, yeah, tell me what that looks like as well. But if you are watching a replay, be sure to put a comment in the comment section below. And even if you're not an employer and you're watching this, as a talent member, as a team member, tell me about your experience. What was your experience with getting onboarded? Do you feel that those statistics match up with what your experience lies? And what are your tips and tricks that you would provide as feedback to help improve that process as well? So tell me in the comment section below. And if you don't want to share it publicly, once again, a special shout out to the Limitless Network, because this is a great avenue to share and have these open and honest discussions as well. So the details are in the link below, facebook.com/groups/Zamil Solanki. So be sure to jump on there. So that's it from me today. I look forward to catching up exclusively in the Limitless Network tomorrow on an episode with Tea with Z. But for those that are watching, thank you so much. And I hope wherever you are in the world that you're keeping well and safe. And I really look forward to catching you in the Limitless Network tomorrow. Stay safe, stay well,